Okay, so in this video we're checking out the FUS Spartan 2.5-inch toothpick, and this they're calling the V3. I think what I have here is actually the V2, and I think the V1, I think a few other reviewers reviewed that a while back, had kind of different specs. I think it had 3S motors here instead of 4S motors, and I believe everything else might have been the same, and they may have a different frame at that time. But currently, what you can buy is the version 3 of this. Now, I did look at everything I have here and compared it to the version 3, and it looks identical to me, so I'm not really sure what the difference is between version 2 and version 3. They may have made another change to the frame, possibly. So this is a 2.5-inch toothpick using these Gem Fan 65mm propellers. You have 1106, 3800 kV motors, and this is the same motor that's in the FUS X111 2.5-inch micro Cinewhoop. I did a video reviewing that a while back. So they're using this motor now instead of that, I guess, outdated, out of production, no longer available DYS motor that was in the version 1. That's possibly why they switched this motor, but it's a lower kV, so they're pretty much telling you to fly this on 4S instead of 3S. It'll still fly on 3S, and just the tune is going to be a little bit off. So the flight controller in here is pretty good. It's the JHE-MCU 20 amp all-in-one flight controller. It's a whoop style flight controller. I did a video review in this as well. I'll link that down in the description if you want to see the board layout and everything. It's a pretty good flight controller, and it's 20 amps is plenty for this setup here, even on 4S. And it's got the USB port on the side there. It comes with this 3D printed canopy, Runcam Nano 2 camera here, built-in, it's not built-in, it's a power switchable video transmitter that's inside the canopy here. It's like underneath, right about here somewhere. I think it's right above the receiver. And it's 25 to 200 milliwatts power switchable. You see the antenna here, and the canopy has all these little parts to hold the antenna wire, which runs very close to the props, as you can see right there. So yeah, in a hard crash, it may move around, but this is pretty hard TPU, so not sure that's going to happen. You do have to add your own receiver, so this is a plug and play. I think that there's no receiver version on this one. So I added like a FreeSky, third-party FreeSky receiver. It does need to be very small if you want to fit under the canopy here. And this has one of those as a single antenna. So I have one antenna coming here. I decided to use 2 of the antenna tubes because even though I don't have an antenna coming out of this side, I just wanted to look balanced instead of just having it on one side. And that's why you see 2 tubes. The frame is 99 millimeters motor to motor, 2.5 millimeters thick, and it comes with this 3D printer part here on the bottom. And I added my own iFlight battery strap here because the one that comes in the box is pretty bad. And then you have these like hooks on the side here to run the battery strap through. You have an XD60 here for the, XD30 for the battery connection. This is kind of on the heavy side for a toothpick in this class. So I'm just going to give you something for comparison here. It's 68 grams. Keep in mind this is a 2.5-inch. Now, if you look at the toothpick spec here, this is a Kebab TP3 here. And this is like what the toothpick spec is with 3-inch props and 1303 motors. And this is coming in lighter, even though it's a bigger frame. It's 62.3 in terms of the weight. So I have, in my opinion, this is okay in terms of the out-of-the-box tune and everything. It flies fine. It flies pretty good on this 4S 450, which is what I flew it on. This is an Hourline battery, and this is a recommended size. Now, but still, even though it flies fine, the tune's fine, everything like that, it's overall, I think, still too heavy for this class of quad if you're looking for a 2.5-inch toothpick. So I'm thinking that what this is probably going to be better is probably as a source for parts if you want the camera, video transmitter, and the canopy, and then the flight controller. I would say ditch the frame and the motors, although you could possibly still use the motors on a 3-inch setup. So get something like the baby tooth frame and convert this into a 3-inch toothpick like the Kebab TP3. And actually, that's probably what I'm going to do. I'm going to actually convert this here into a 3-inch with this motor here. It's the AMAX Eno Performante 1303 5000 kV motor. It's the same motor size and kV that's on the TP3. So that'll be in a future video, but for this one here, I'll go ahead and show you the flight footage. This guy here on the stock setup and 450 4S battery. And yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And I'll have another video on this one with this in a 3-inch setup in the future. So here's the flight footage, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Look at a little camera tilt on this camera right now. It's like 45 degrees. It's going to be mainly for kind of a racing type setup. 4S 450 Outline LiPo. Totally stock tune, stock everything. Didn't touch any of the settings at all. So, it's about what I expected. It's a pretty low kV motor, 3800 kV. Even on 4S, it's not particularly fast. It's on the bi-blade, 65 millimeter propeller. So, for these electronics, I think going to a bigger frame and bigger prop would be, I think, better. Going to a 3-inch on this would be probably better. And it shouldn't be too hard to move the parts over, except the motor wires for the motors are going to be a little bit on the short side. You'll have to either lengthen them or use some race wire. Tune seems alright. Not finding anything unusual about it. I'm trying to get the prop wash to come out. So if you do a hard turn, hit the throttle real hard like that, you get a little bit of that shaking. I'm actually doing that on purpose, but you can fly around it. You don't have to hit the throttle that hard, of course. You want to do like an abrupt stop, like that. And yeah, this setup's kind of loud. Gonna attract some attention. Oh, full throttle isn't all that impressive. I think you kind of hear the props flattening out. But this is pretty efficient. Still at 14.5 volts. Almost 3.5 minutes. So you're going to get some pretty decent flight times on this FUS 450. We get a little bit of voltage sag there coming in the battery. I think about 4 minutes, 3.5, 4 minutes of flights. Going to be normal here. Burn off the end of this battery here. Yeah, about 4 minutes of flight. Anyway, let me know what you guys think.